Hello and welcome back to our masterclass. Today we'll be discussing the phlegmatic. I'm Roy Clark, and once again, we're here with my wife, Dr. Amy Clark. Amy, what can you tell us about the phlegmatic in inclusion?
The phlegmatic in inclusion is somewhat in the middle. I'd say so here's the extrovert, here's the introvert.
Okay.
They are in the middle, but just a little bit on the extroverted side.
Okay.
So the phlegmatic is right down the middle with everything. So they are very chill, easygoing people. If you ever known somebody who just never has extreme highs, never gets super angry, they're never super low, they're just kind of always that slow and steady, even keel.
Yeah, slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, exactly. They have a very dry sense of humor.
Okay.
So they use humor a lot. They're very sarcastic. I think it's hysterical. But so they use their humor just to be able to control other people. So if people are trying to pressure them into doing stuff, they make jokes to try to
get away or get involved. Either way?
They don't really want to get involved. So the phlegmatic is really known as an observer of life.
Oh wow.
They would rather kind of be like sitting close to everything. They want to watch what's going on, but they don't really want to engage.
Okay, so we've talked about the party in a number of these segments. Who are they at the party? Well, first, how did they get to the party?
Oh, they're fine. Like, so anything that you ask the phlegmatic, I don't care.
Sure.
You want to go to the party? Sure. Do you want to stay home? Sure. Like they are so just even keel.
Yeah.
They don't really care. It says in the temperament book that they have no temperament needs.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that doesn't even make sense to me, but it's just they can take it or leave it no matter what you throw at them.
Wow. So you are not a phlegmatic.
I know. I wish I had some phlegmatic in me, and I don't, not at all. So the interesting thing about the phlegmatic is that it's the only temperament that can be blended with other temperaments.
Okay.
And so whenever the phlegmatic is blended with another temperament, it tones it down.
Oh. Okay.
So let's say if we blended the phlegmatic with the sanguine. The sanguine has that high socialization need. Never wants to be home, wants to go all the time. If you blend it with the phlegmatic, then it's just they don't need as much. Their highs aren't as high and their lows aren't as low.
Wow. They sound like great people to hang around with.
Yeah. So my dad is a phlegmatic. My dad, he's probably not watching this, but so he's just go with the flow. I can count on 2 fingers the amount of times I've ever seen my dad lose his cool.
Yeah.
He's just go with the flow. Now, the phlegmatic, they don't do counseling.
All right.
I rarely get an opportunity to work with them because they don't have any problems.
Right.
Whatever happens, okay, that's fine.
They don't need any counseling.
They don't.
Right.
It's the only temperament that is not prone to eating disorders.
Okay.
They rarely will come into counseling. Their family members come into counseling.
And they're concerned about the phlegmatic?
They are irritated at the phlegmatic because nothing bothers them. How does that not bother you?
Right. Okay.
And they just let everything rolls off their back. So another core characteristic of this temperament is when you read through a temperament analysis, it will say a couple things repeatedly. It will say low energy reserves and dry sense of humor.
Oh, wow.
So the phlegmatic is very slow, steady pace. They take the path of least resistance. So if something, that's too much work, I'm just going to avoid it.
Right.
And they work at a slow, steady pace. The only thing that regenerates a phlegmatic is sleep.
Oh.
The other we talked about the sanguine, in order to get regenerated, they need a change of environment. They actually need to go around people to get re-energized.
Yeah.
The melancholy needs alone time to regenerate. Yeah. The phlegmatic needs sleep and then a little more sleep.
Oh, wow.
So their day is get up, go to work, sit in a cubicle all day, come home, take a nap, eat dinner, take another nap, and then go to bed.
Oh, wow.
So
I'm not sure I relate to the phlegmatic very much, but who knows? So let's say we have a child that's phlegmatic, all right? And both parents are just really driven, okay?
Yep. Yes.
What happens in that family? How do you motivate a phlegmatic?
You don't.
You don't. Okay.
You
You
don't.
say this is the way that they're wired.
It's the way that they're wired, and they're going to be content no matter what life throws them.
Okay.
They'll be content. And when they're not content, if they ever are not content, then they'll figure it out.
Okay.
They're intelligent. They can take care of themselves. They're not they're hard to offend.
Okay. I would assume that the chief complaint would be that they're so lazy,
Yes. Yeah. You hear lazy a lot.
but that's not the
associated-
case.
They just choose not to. Well, I guess we have a saying, behavior tells the truth. And
Right.
if they're putting in very little effort,
Okay. They have a tendency of being lazy.
yes.
Right. So let's say that, once again, you have a child that is phlegmatic, is acting a little lazy. We know that the weaknesses can be overcome within
Right.
our temperaments.
Yeah.
So learned behaviors can happen with this temperament, right?
Yes.
Okay. You can have a hardworking phlegmatic. It's just not, there's just no real way to motivate them.
Right. They are self-motivated. No, they're not threatened by, or they're not, you can't use the threat of punishment. You can't use the
Okay.
reward. They'll go when they want to go.
All right.
So I have a client who is a phlegmatic, a child is a phlegmatic, and the parents get so frustrated with this individual, and they are like, I'm going to take away your PlayStation. I'm going to take away your computer. I'm going to take away your phone. And with every subtraction out of his life, okay, I'll adapt. I'll get over it.
Right.
And then it got so bad that the door was actually taken off the bedroom.
Wow.
And it's fine.
Yeah.
And it just, no, there is nothing that the parents can do to motivate this child. The child has to learn that they're going to have to pay the consequences of their own actions.
And eventually those consequences can catch up with them.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So did they get the door back?
Yes.
Okay. And they got the Xbox back?
Yes.
And the phone back?
Yes.
So eventually they do learn how to manage their life.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if you're a phlegmatic, right, and nothing just seems to get to you, right, just know that those consequences are still going to be real no matter what.
And I think it's also like noticing what is going on around you. Like maybe nothing bothers you, but things bother the people around you. So I work with a lot of families of a phlegmatic.
Right.
Because it just appears like nothing bothers them. They don't care. Like
Right.
I can be flying off the handle and they just don't care.
Right.
There's nothing registering to them, but it just takes too much effort to engage into high emotions.
Right. Just too much energy. For
Yep. And so the phlegmatic will make a joke about it. So wife is just going crazy about her day at work or the kids, and then the phlegmatic is just cracking jokes, and seems very dismissive.
Wow. Okay.
And the phlegmatic is sitting there going, well, why would I want to be going crazy like you? I'd rather
Right.
just laugh. I'd rather laugh than cry,
Yeah.
is their mentality. So they make the jokes, but that can be really hurtful to the people around them.
And yet can be a strength, right?
Yeah. Yep. So the phlegmatics, one of their gifts is in inclusion. Like they don't need a lot of people.
Okay.
The sanguine has to work with people. They will go crazy if they
Right.
don't. Even the supine really needs to be around people. The melancholy doesn't really want to work with people.
Okay.
The phlegmatic can. They can work in situations that are pretty hostile.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
Right.
they can also work in jobs that require really great precision. So they make good data collectors and bookkeepers and
wow.
researchers. And, like if you're a writer and you need somebody to do a whole bunch of research for you, the phlegmatic can handle that.
Right.
So they are going to work at their own pace, and they're not going to
Right.
get too upset. They're actually the only temperament that can really handle the choleric.
Oh, okay.
The choleric can't
Right.
stand the melancholy.
Okay.
The phlegmatic just doesn't get bothered. So we talked about choleric in the last segment, and they're the ones that are very driven, they
Right.
can be very harsh.
Yeah.
they will get the job done even if they have to trample people to do it, and they can't motivate the phlegmatic, and they'll be yelling at the phlegmatic, and the phlegmatic's just making jokes, and and it just needles.
Phlegmatics would be great in crisis situations.
Yes, yeah, they would make excellent.
Good counselors?
No.
How come?
They don't engage into the emotions. They don't really see a benefit.
They're not very empathetic.
No.
Okay.
Nope. So, funny story about my dad's a phlegmatic, and I remember I used to be a dental hygienist for a long time, and I was about 6 months into my career as a dental hygienist, and my dad's like, "So, Aim, what do you think of your new career?" And I said, "Dad, nobody likes coming to the dentist. The most common thing I hear is, I say, 'How are you today?' And they say, 'Well, I was good until I had to come here.'" And my dad just goes, "Well, Aim, if you want to make everybody happy, why don't you go be a clown at a birthday party?" This is common. Just, okay, thanks, Dad. Like, all better. Thanks for the pep talk. But he's just gonna make jokes, and but you have to appreciate that there's a lot of good that comes along with that. They're not theatrical. They don't get upset. They're very hard to offend. It's just, you can.
And, referring to your dad, his love has been consistent.
Yes.
Right. In the way that he expresses it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So the phlegmatics they're very funny. They're hard. It's like they're hard to get mad at, but you get frustrated with them. But they're so affable. They're so easygoing that it's there's a little part of you that admires them, and there's a little part of you that's like, you kind of drive me crazy, but I kind of want to be like you. I wish that things didn't bother me.
Right. So the phlegmatic in inclusion. If you're a phlegmatic in inclusion, thanks for not rocking the boat. And if you know somebody who's a phlegmatic, let's learn a thing or two from them as they just stay even keel throughout the whole thing. Thank you for joining us. This has been our masterclass on the temperament phlegmatic in inclusion. We look forward to having you stop by the class Phlegmatic in Control next. Thank you.
See you there.